All right, another episode of the Cedric Maxwell podcast. I am Josue Pavon alongside Cedric Maxwell. The Boston Celtics are on their way to the NBA Finals. What a Game 7 between the Celtics and the Heat, man. 100-96 is the final score, which I don't think it tells the entire story. But, Max, I want you to paint a picture for everyone because I want everyone to hear your take on how this thing went down. Actually, you know what? Take me back to Game 6 because this was the original plan for Game 6, obviously. In the case that the Celtics were to win, if they had won Game 6, didn't happen the way we wanted it to go down, but it happened in Game 7 for sure. The Celtics beating the Heat. Max, you getting the honor of handing the trophy over to the Eastern Conference champions. Take me through it, man. How was that down in Miami?
Well, it was cool. I mean, you think about Miami and being there, and it was almost surreal because this happened to me almost 3 other different occasions where they asked me to do it. And the Celtics ended up pooping the bed and not winning. It was to get down on the floor and to acknowledge. First thing I want to do is when the Lisa Salters came to me, I wanted to acknowledge with a thank you, but then go from there to talk about Miami Heat, how well they played. And that was a team that was often injured. A lot of things could have gone wrong, but they held in there till the last stone was thrown. And for me, we were, up in Miami, you're at the top of the bowl. So once the horn goes off, I'm going down the steps, and all the Miami Heat fans are going up the steps. So I'm this small Hispanic guy is in front of me. He's the guy who is supposed to guide me down, and I'm following him. Nobody wants to get out of the way, and I need to get to the floor quickly so I can do this ceremony and get out there, finally get to the end and get out there and start the ceremony. Was so cool, man, to be out there among the players and to see how excited they were, and just me knowing beforehand, hearing that they had to tell me that Jayson Tatum was the guy that was the MVP for the Eastern Conference Championship. So I got a lot of information all at one time.
So then you make your way down there, right? Because obviously the team doesn't know, right, that Jayson Tatum won. Did you run into anybody on the way down there? Did you keep that information to yourself, Max? Because I know you.
No,
I'm sure you were trying to go down there and break the news to everybody on that mic. You didn't want to spoil it, right?
Josue, it was tough enough getting down there. There was people standing in front of me. Matter of fact, there was at some point when I was about to step on the floor, Grant Williams' mom screamed at me, Cornbread, can you help Jayson Tatum's mom? She can't get down from the stands. They're not allowing her to get down. I'm like, whoa, lady, just because I got on a nice suit and I'm going down, I didn't have that information. She finally got down, and when she came down, she looked a little frustrated, and I leaned over to her and I said, Jayson is he's the MVP. And she said, thank God, and gave a big smile. So it was some real cool stuff. But
you should have been like, that's why I'm rushing down here right now, man. I'm trying to break the news to everybody. Damn it.
Yeah,
Let me get through.
And then now, we're gonna have these some of these T-shirts. I guess that's the next thing to do. How about the Celtics? Everybody got excited about it. I love the fact that I was talking to a couple of people and they said, boy, Max really cracks me up. They said that's what happens when you let somebody's grandfather get on the microphone, a loud microphone in a game like that. Because they might say anything.
I was dying. That obviously that part had me rolling, and I was cracking up, clapping, and everything. But what got me was the second time when you're going to give the MVP, the Larry Bird trophy, the first winner to Jayson Tatum, and you go, what did you say? Damn it, I forgot. I forget the exact words. You were like, "That's on, girl. That's on right now, girl."
Girl, it is good being on the top.
That's what it was. Girl, it's good.
And then when I said that, I was trying to hold the suspense. I said, and the MVP of the Eastern Conference Finals is
let's
see here, Jayson Tatum. So it gave me a chance really just to get a lot of stuff out. And then I just went from interview to interview to interview to interview. And it was just kind of surreal. And we didn't get back here, the team. I fly with the team, so we didn't get back in Boston. We didn't land until about 4:30 a.m. So for us to get off the plane, essentially, you could see the sun rising out of the east, and it was starting to get bright. And by the time I got home, I think it was closer to 5:30, something like that. By the time I ended up getting home, so it was a confusing, long, strenuous night.
I wonder if they didn't want any Celtics fans out there partying and celebrating in Miami. You know,
how about instead of that? How about you, Josue? Or do you think it was they didn't want the players to stay in Miami and somebody go to South Beach?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, that could have been it.
I'll leave that to you with your young ass. You can tell me, like, if you got players who just won it going to South Beach, there's COVID, there's women, that's not good. Good look. That's not a good look.
There's nothing for you out there. Yeah.
Your brother Joel would say, nah. Your dad, I know what he said. Nah. No, Josue, no. Don't do that, Josue.
That's not it. Man, growing up, my brother's mind used to always be, especially when I was going off to college, always be, hey, man, hey, stay safe, man. It was simple, right to the point. Hey, stay safe, man. It's like, all right, Joe, I got you. Like, it was well put. But yeah, you know what? The Celtics, look, they got to stay focused here because, look, the NBA Finals start in a few days. You know, you have the media days is right around the corner. Look, you already got your bags packed. You're not going to be in town for long, right? For less than 24 hours.
Just wait.
The focus shifts over to a completely different beast, right?
I am packing my bags as we speak. I got a couple of suits here.
I can tell. What you trying not to the finisher? I mean
I got a shirt on because I was on Comcast. I was just on
that's
NBC.
Right. That's right. Okay, get the button down ready.
Yeah, doing Zoom a minute ago. So
that's
why I'm wearing the shirt. And cuff links and the whole nine because I'm sitting right here on my couch.
I thought you was trying to flex on our podcast. I thought you because the Celtics are in the finals now. I thought you was trying to.
They actually wanted me to come to the studio today. I said, man, I can't come to the studio. I said, I'm just getting back. I can do a Zoom. I'm just getting back. I said, I'm here with Yolanda. I have one day actually to stay here before I leave for the next, she would say 6 days, 7 nights, or 7 nights and 6 days, whatever, however she boils that down to.
Whatever exaggeration she
whatever she comes to. But, so it was a day really, and then to do a Zoom and do a Zoom with you and do our podcast was just as important. So I'm able to get a lot of things out of the way before I get to San Francisco. The only thing I didn't get out of the way is this beard is coming in nice right now. So I got to find a barber maybe once I get to San Francisco.
Yeah, man, I got to see my boy Luis one time before I go out there for sure, man. I got more time than you do, a little bit more time before I head out west. But man, let's talk about Tatum. Obviously, the MVP. So we got to talk about him, right? 26 points in the clincher.
Well, let me ask you this. What
do you got?
Was he actually the MVP, or was Jimmy Butler? Oh, was Jimmy Butler the MVP?
Yes, he was close. It's funny you bring that up because I brought it up during our Celtics post-game show. I brought the same question. I just want to see what everyone else thought because it did cross my mind. And the numbers are close. They're really close. But I think in order for someone like that for the star of the losing team to win it, it can't be close, right? It's got to be significant. It got to be a significant gap. But man, what a heck of a series for Jimmy Butler, man. That was the greatest performance I've ever seen from Jimmy Butler in Game 6. To follow that up, let alone just to follow that up 2 days later, it's one incredible feat. And look, if you're a Heat fan, I know it might be hard to say this right now, but you can't fault him for taking that three. He went for the dagger, man. He went for it. I don't blame him. He worked his behind off of that moment, and he went for it. And I think a lot of his teammates would say the same. I really do.
Yeah, he went for it. Kyle Lowry. I think that was a wounded team. They played strong.
They didn't want overtime, Max. They
were resilient. Let's just look at it. They were resilient.
Oh, yeah.
Have them down.
Absolutely.
A bunch of people right now, this is the scenario which is going around is like, oh, my God, Marcus Smart missed 5 shots. These were wide open looks that you have to take. You know anything about basketball, you have to take those looks. And he just missed them. He missed those shots. And so I think that you look at it now and going, but look how many shots he made. And I've also told people, if Marcus Smart didn't play, would you have won the series, or would you have won this?
No.
You wouldn't have won this. So let's stop.
No way.
Let's stop blowing smoke up each other's ass and like a Michael Felker show. Like, oh my God, Marcus, he almost shut us out of it. And Marcus did this. I was looking at the score.
It's the dramatics, Max. It's the dramatics.
Dude,
and listen,
you won.
The Celtics, right. No, that's true. That's true. But the reason why they're saying this, Max, because of what happened in Game 6. That's what this is about. Those are the same talking heads that were saying the Celtics are in, They've done themselves. This is it. This is it now. You've asked for it. Game 7 in Miami. You shouldn't have gone to this point. Yada, yada, yada. But even though this has been the same Celtics team that's done this in the past, they did it against the Bucks. They've done it before when their backs are against the wall. That's just the way they like it, honestly. And look,
I don't think. Let's hear it.
That could bite them in the finals, Max. I don't know. You can't have that same approach.
Yeah, I don't think they like it like that. But I think that it just boiled down to it.
Then why do they keep doing it then?
Do you think they did it on purpose for giggles and laughs? No, they missed some shots. Jaylen Brown goes in for a layup.
The approach doesn't change.
He hits Bam in the mouth. Jayson Tatum misses a couple of shots. Tap ins around. The one thing that bothered me was that one of the most critical plays of the game, Jaylen Brown taps the ball with that last rebound. He taps it out to somebody else instead of grabbing it. So it was just so many things that happened in that game late. But, you're going right now, you look at the Celtics are going to the finals. And I don't think anybody would have looked at this team sometimes in January or late December and went, hey, this team can go to the finals. You would have looked at this team.
Well, yeah, Max. I don't think anyone's saying they don't deserve to be here.
You're in the 11th place. You're in the 11th place. And you have a coach which is unproven and a young rookie coach, and the players not really performing up to expectation. And then all of a sudden, Zoom. Only 2 teams now left. We got 31 teams right now in the NBA, or whatever you have in the NBA. And the Celtics are the last 2 standing with Golden State.
This episode of the Cedric Maxwell Podcast is brought to you by Indeed. If you're hiring, you need Indeed, because Indeed is the hiring partner where you can attract, interview, and hire all in one place. And Indeed is the only job site where you're guaranteed to find quality applications that meet your must-have requirements, or else you don't pay. Instead of spending hours on multiple job sites hoping to find right candidates with the right skill sets, you need one powerful hiring partner that can help you do it all. Indeed partners you on every step of the hiring process. Find great talent through time-saving tools like Indeed Instant Match, assessment, and virtual interviews. With Instant Match, as soon as you sponsor a post, you get a short list of quality candidates with resumes on Indeed that match your job description, and you can invite them to apply right away. Plus, you only pay for quality applications that meet your must-have requirements. Indeed is the easiest way to find great talent, and according to ComSource, Indeed is the #1 job site worldwide. And Indeed delivers 4 times more hires than all other job sites combined. And that's according to CLNS. Join more than 3 million businesses worldwide that use Indeed to hire great talent fast. Start hiring right now with the $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/Maxwell. That's Indeed.com/Maxwell to claim your $75 credit before April 30th. That's Indeed.com/Maxwell. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
Have you ever seen a turnaround like this?
No.
They were 22 and 23 in January.
Only thing I can think about in that case would have been, this would be out of your ear, the Bad News Bears. That movie that Bad News Bears were losing all those games, and all of a sudden
Walter Matthau.
The girls come in the pitch, and all of a sudden they turned around. I've never seen a professional team do it like this. But you also look at your Red Sox. Your Red Sox, when they were down, 3-0 to the Yankees? Was that it? Yeah. And came back and won that series and ended up winning the World Championship. Teams sometimes...
They swept them after that, Max.
Yeah, teams sometimes, things do happen.
I get it. Look, I'm just saying those repeated mistakes that we saw in the Buck series that carried over. Let's just call it what it is. They were performances that were just straight up duds. Jayson Tatum going 2 for 4 in the fourth quarter. You know, shit. We're not talking about against the Bucks, right? We're talking about Game 6 on your floor. The chance to the Eastern Conference Trophy was all that, everything that he just grabbed in Miami. That was waiting for you at TD Garden Friday night, and he didn't show up to he didn't go toe-to-toe with Jimmy Butler in that one. And that was one of my biggest complaints about this series, is that it was almost as if it was like Tatum was like, oh, you got this one, Jimmy? I'll get the next one. And Jimmy's like, oh, no, after you, man. I'm going to put up my dud in this game, and you get your 40-piece next one. And it's like, why can't we get a showdown, a back and forth, the way we saw LeBron versus, Paul Pierce in those years, the way we seen LeBron versus Steph Curry go back and forth, like Tatum, and that's exactly what he did in Game 7. He finally rose to the occasion in that fourth quarter. He can't be that guy against the Warriors. He can't go 2 for 4 in the fourth quarter against the Warriors, 1 for 2 in the fourth quarter against the Warriors, because this team needs him to be who he's been this last 24 hours, man. Top 5 Tatum, if you will.
And this, you would hope that he would play as well as he has. But this team has a lot of moving parts. Did you ever think Derek White was going to be the guy who was going to get you going, knocking down jump shots in one series? I don't think you can. Yeah, Tatum, is he going to play well? Does he need to dominate? Would you want? Yeah, but don't put that kind of pressure on you, because what he did, he played the game the right way. He made the extra pass. They're like, oh, why are you passing to DeMarcus? He was the guy who was wide open. Tatum had assists. He had rebounds. He blocked shots. He did everything. He put his imprint on the game, and that's all I would ask for from Jayson Tatum.
I mean, was the biggest step in this team's defense, right? Like the way he's taking things way more serious on the defensive end this year than ever, right? I mean, he finished with 2 blocks and a steal in that Game 7, stacking up those assists, 6 assists, 10 rebounds. Yeah, all of that. You want to see the complete player in this series. But let me ask you this, though. What's the key matchup in between the Celtics and the Warriors? Like out of the starting 5, which one do you think can make or break the Celtics in this series, or could give a team a significant edge versus the other one?
Brown and Klay Thompson. Jaylen Brown and Klay. I think who wins that particular matchup is going to win the series. Jaylen Brown is longer. He's more athletic. He's younger. He should be more hungry about it, but Klay seems like he still has that hungry gene in him, because he wants to go back and prove after his Achilles, after his knee, all this stuff, that they're looking like they want to be back on top. But I'm happy that the Celtics are there, because I just felt like in the real scheme of things, as you like to say, real talk, keeping on the 100 right now, I think that the Boston Celtics were the only team that was capable of beating Golden State, because the fact that I think their defense travels so well. They have multiple scores. They're longer. I think they can be more physical in the paint. And the one thing that we saw with this Golden State team, we saw them beat a lot of teams this year. But who was the team in the playoffs that gave them the most trouble? That would have been the Memphis Grizzlies, because they were extremely physical. Yeah. And they pushed them around, and they had opportunities to win that game. And you think about John Morant is dynamic, but you name me those other guys on Memphis team that is so dynamic that they're going to push the Warriors that way. I mean, they went down and smoked the Warriors, games, and they had this song down there come up, whoop that trick. That was it.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, from the Hustle.
One of them, I don't know what group it is, but man, and
3-6 Mafia. 3-6
yeah,
Mafia.
whatever. They going crazy.
That's my era.
They're going crazy down there in Memphis. So Memphis is, you think about it, the team that is the most physical team out there is the Boston Celtics. They can be physical. Yeah. The Celtics can play finesse, and their defense will travel.
They got to bring that same energy that we saw in Game 2. Like those quarters when they were just in complete domination mode, holding the Nets, or the Nets caught it too, but holding the Heat to 16 points in the first quarter. Those dominating defense. I don't think the Warriors have seen something like that in this postseason run. you know?
No.
And to meet that right now is going to be tough for them.
They did see it. They saw it in the game out there when Boston was on the road and went out there and crushed them. But that was also Steph when Steph got his ankle roll. But Poole is going to be difficult. This is both teams right now. Both teams right now have enigmas, guys who can play at a high level and can change the perspective of a series. Otto Porter, another guy who's always hurt the Celtics from the corners, knocking down jump shot. Veteran guy. You see all these pieces around. Andrew Wiggins, is he going to play?
Yeah, that's the guy I was going to bring up too.
So, Mooney. The thing the Celtics have is size, and I think they have, God bless you, and the ability to rebound the basketball.
Good looks, man. I think it's the first time it's ever happened. I've never sneezed before. I'm doing one of these Zoom things.
It happened. Like I said, in a minute, I'll probably start yawning. I'm so doggone tired.
I know, man. How are you doing it? I mean, the players, everyone talks about the players going through the grueling schedule. They forget about the broadcasters, huh?
Yeah.
They're all on the same schedule, man.
Yeah, we're on the same schedule, on the same plane. Obviously, we're not on the court, but I felt like I was on the court trying to get down to the court after Sean, gave the last little whistle and said the Celtics had won. I did feel like that.
Yeah, I bet. All right, how about this matchup? We'll do one more before we change the topic of conversation here. How about Draymond versus Al Horford? I love that matchup for a number of reasons.
I like that matchup, and to me, Draymond obviously is a better assist guy because of the guys he has to pass it to, and he's been doing it over the years. But Al Horford is a much more reliable scorer who can get you on the box or take you on the outside and knock down some jump shots.
He's going to make you work.
Al was huge in that game. You think when Strus went in and tried to dunk on Al was able to block that, keep the ball in play, and run back the other way. I mean, there were so many in that game. People complain right now about the Strus three-point basket, which was taken away. After about 3 or 4 plays, they went back and they saw that Strus was out of bounds. And people complained. People were complaining about that, but they got it right. They got it right at the end of the day, and that's all that matters. Instead of oh my God, they didn't do it here and they didn't do it there. They looked at it as a caucus and they got it right. This is what happened. You could clearly see that his foot was out of bounds when he took this jump shot.
Yeah, it was the right call. They got it right. But look, the stops against Jimmy Butler, I thought were huge. I mean, obviously, they're going to try to get him on an island with Steph Curry and try to do it, but I think he can handle his own. He's not going to get a stop every single time, but I think that he can string together stops when the Celtics need it most, especially in the second half. So that's something I think is going to be interesting to keep an eye on in this series. And, man, what an emotional just yell or whatever you want to call it, release that Al just had, for a guy who's played over 140 games in the playoffs, man, has never seen the NBA Finals. Shit, think about where he was a year ago, Max. Man, like not knowing what's going to happen with OKC, knowing that he wasn't a part of their future. He didn't know what his basketball playing future was going to be. Brad Stevens, he gets his promotion or whatever people want to call it, the adjustment that the Celtics organization made. And what's the first thing he did? He pulled the trigger to trading, Kemba Walker for Al Horford. And what a move it ended up being for this team. The way it paid off. Paid dividends for this Celtics team that's not going to the NBA Finals. And Al Horford has a lot to do with that.
Yeah, and people keep talking about the draft pick. Oh, you had to give up a draft pick to get rid of Kemba. You had to do this with OKC, but you got back a guy who was very familiar with the system, that Brad loved, who is still right now very, very physically fit because he was able to take a year off from Oklahoma City. And I remember talking to Al about that. He said, he didn't know what his future was because when Oklahoma sent him home, he said the one thing he was doing was every morning he was getting up with his child and dropping him off at school. So he didn't have a clue about what was going down. And now for him to, for me, literally to grab that trophy, as they told me, and, we want you to take this trophy. And
yeah, you have to call him the old man. Damn, Max.
Somebody said, well, would he be like really pissed off about that? Well, he is. He is the old man on this team. I mean, I don't think nobody's complaining. Now he's an old man that can play. and he's played
well.
well.
Man, I could dunk on the best player in the NBA,
Dunk
right?
on
Giannis.
Dunk on you, knock shots down. Al was huge in this series. I think he had 14 rebounds or something like that. He kept Bam under wraps. Bam did very little in this series. So, and you know how Bam plays against Daniel Tice. That's a foul waiting to happen. But with Al, Al was able to keep him pretty much at bay and not really let him get a lot of things going.
Yeah, he was huge. He was huge. And obviously on the offensive end, he had more than a couple of big performances just throughout throughout the postseason run. And I still go back to game one and thinking just how tough that must have been for him to sit out of that. And you can't help but wonder what would have gone through his mind if Suns were to lose game 7. You think, what if I played in that one? What if we got off to the right start and this whole thing wouldn't have gone this far and all that? But I guess all that's in the rear view. But yeah, look, to piggyback on what I was saying earlier, you just hope that these bad habits don't carry into the NBA Finals. An experienced dynasty in the Golden State Warriors, they're gonna sniff out those mistakes, man. They're gonna make you pay. And I think they'll make you pay in a way that know the team can.
Everybody says all these different things, what you might do. Mike Tyson says it best. You don't know what you're going to do until you get punched in the mouth. And the Celtics defense could actually punch Golden State in the mouth. They're going to be physical. They're going to get up in them, be aggressive, try to put Curry in a lot of pick and roll situations, make him defend the basketball. I think the game plan is pretty simple, and not turn the ball over. Golden State wants to run. And when they run, they run off of turnovers. The thing they'll also do is turn the ball over because they want to pick the pace up so fast.
Right, absolutely. I just think Al has a lot to do with that in terms of just anchoring this defense and making this tough on the offensive end as well, and making sure that guys like Draymond Green just don't get comfortable, right? I mean, whether it's banging down low, whether it's chasing them out to the perimeter, and I just think this opportunity, this moment is going to really make it. You're going to see him rise to the occasion. He also lost his grandfather ahead of Game 6, which you saw that in his performance that he just didn't have it that night. And what a way for him to turn around in Game 7, man.
Well, and you look at other people right now. Will Derek White play as well as he played in the last 3 or 4 games, knocking down shots, being really competitive? And I would wonder, he got hit in the top of the head by Bam, and Bam. I was surprised that they did not go look at it because the boy had a gash right in the top of his head.
That was his elbow,
come down. Yeah. So I didn't understand why the NBA didn't go look at that, and the Celtics got a flagrant 2 or something like that. So it was a good game. It was an exciting game. You didn't turn away from it until Al caught the ball with 2 seconds and just threw the ball high in the air, and that was a moment of relief for Al Horford.
All right, Max, give me the keys to winning the NBA Final for the Boston Celtics, man. How can they make this happen against the Golden State Warriors?
Obviously, take great shots, rebound the ball, not allow a bunch of second and third chance opportunities, and to me, more than that, not turn the ball over because the Warriors want to run. They want to run off your turnovers. You got the defensive player of the year in Marcus Smart. He's probably going to get stronger and better coming in and playing against Steph Curry. Both teams are almost a mirror image of each other. I do want to see what happens if Jaylen Brown actually remembers when Steph Curry, must have been about 2 or 3 years ago, Steph Curry hit a shot in his face in Golden State. And then he took his mouthpiece out and he pointed to Jaylen and did all this other antics that went along with it. But he didn't even get a technical. So I wonder, is Jaylen going to remember that and give him that much more motivation?
Yeah, I would think that he's going to have a big series in this one because I feel like Jaylen, if you limit if you just don't even factor in the turnovers, you're thinking what a consistent postseason performance,
What are you saying right now with Jaylen? Don't dribble in a crowd of people.
No.
He gets squirrely with the ball sometimes.
Yeah, but why does he go right into like triple teams, Max? It's like, man, don't pass it off, reset. He tries to force the issue, and that's the thing that drives everyone crazy because it disrupts the offense. It gets the other team going, and all of a sudden that 27, 28 points or whatever. Even the 40-point game, people were like, well, what about those turnovers? That's exactly that was the case. That's what everyone was talking about. That you dropped 40.
Make sure you keep the ball on the string, not turn it over. Obviously, you have to identify where Steph and Poole and Thompson are almost all the time. But they also got a couple of wild cards over there. Although Porter it could be a wild card for them. You look at Andrew Wiggins. Is he going to be a wild card? He played well in this series, but a lot of other series he did not show up. So there's things that both teams right now are going to focus on. And you look at Rob Williams. Is he going to be healthy? Ime Udoka definitely picked something out after the game. He said, Rob, thank you. You gave us all you had. We know you're hurt right now with a little pain in your knee, but we got to have it. We got to have you going. If we're going to win this thing, we need you to be productive.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the biggest question mark for the Celtics heading into this series, because that defense it's on a different level when he's out there. And the Celtics need that. And I'm afraid that I don't know, he may not be able to get to the finish line. Maybe it's enough. I'm not saying that the Celtics, if he's unable to complete the series, that the Celtics are doomed and that they can't win the series, but it just makes things really harder for them without Rob out there.
Yeah, because he is a shot blocker. You can throw the ball up him around the rim. And
what did you think about the way he was moving, Max? Like, I just since watching him throughout Game 7, I was like, man, he just does not look good out there.
Yeah, he doesn't look as explosive, but at this time of the year, everybody is hurt. Everybody who plays ball professionally at this time of year has some kind of nagging injuries. And the thing they told him is that you can't hurt it again. So you're going to have to have a pain tolerance. So, if we do have an ace bandage on or ice after the game, whatever it is. But you know what? You need 4 more wins to be the world champions. And I think the Celtics would trade hell and high water for that position.
What's your prediction? What do you got?
Ooh, that's pretty good. What? I want to say Celtics in 6.
Okay.
Yeah, Celtics in 6.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I was going to say the same thing because I said the same thing about the Heat. I said Celtics in 6 against the Heat. This thing went 7, but for the Celtics to win this, I think they got to do it in 6. I'm with you. I don't think I don't think you can afford a Game 7 against this team. And if that's the case, that it's going to probably go to Warriors. That's going to go in their favor. They're going to end up winning the series.
Well, I don't.
That's how close this is, in my opinion. I think it's really close.
Well, here's the thing about it.
Because of Rob's health.
Golden State Warriors, remember this. When they were up against Cleveland, was it 3-1? And Cleveland came back and won that series. They won that game. They won that last game in Golden State. And they turned, Ty Lue turned that team into defensive guys. They banged them around on the glass. Draymond, got a technical for, doing the Kong.
You know what, Max? That's the key, though. That's the key because they start getting, what do you call it? They start whining. When they start whining to the refs, they check out completely. We've seen it before, whether it's Draymond, whether it's Steph, especially Steph. When Steph gets in his feelings, sometimes it goes the other way. Other times you see him go off, but when he's ice cold, he's checked out the game completely. And all of a sudden, he's almost a liability out there. Yeah. So Celtics have to bring that same sort of physicality in this one. They have to treat him as if with the same energy that they had against the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat, the way they kept fighting back, the Celtics knew that they had to not give up, and survive those 8-0 runs that happened over and over and over again throughout Game 7. Man, the Heat just never went away.
They weathered the storm, and now they have their world. They have the world championship in their sights. Nobody would have ever thought that. But you got 29 other teams right now who are home. You're the last 2 standing, and where you had to get through a Brooklyn team that nobody wanted to play. You had to get through the defending world champions, Milwaukee, obviously without Middleton. But then you had to get through Miami, and Miami, you still look at Jimmy Butler playing one of the greatest playoff games I've seen.
Oh, man.
So and now to get there, and the thing I love about all this, Ime Udoka said the best. He said, we ain't ducking nobody. Because of that, I think this team has that mentality.
Absolutely. I agree, Max. Let's see what happens. I got to pack my stuff. man, we out to Cali.
I hear you,
We're gonna
bro.
have to do one of those Cali podcast versions. We're gonna do something on the strip, not in Beverly Hills, but we're gonna do something similar.
Well,
out in the Bay.
We gotta do that. We gotta get our guy Nick when we get back here to have them. How about them damn Celtic T-shirts that we might even put on our website right now to see
merch coming soon.
Get them on them, Poppy. Yep. So merch is coming.
Let's do it.
All right, my brother.
Stay tuned, everybody. Until next week, it's been the Cedric Maxwell Podcast.
Keeping it on the what?
We gonna keep it on 100. NBA Finals edition. That's what we do here. We'll see you guys next week.